Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today we're zooming in on Mullen Automotive. You flagged some pretty wild swings in their stock price recently and wanted to understand what's fueling it. So our goal here is to really dissect what's going on, sift through the noise, and get a clearer picture. We've got information here covering how the stock's been performing, some technical analysis, and a look under the hood at the company's fundamentals.
This is a really interesting situation, isn't it? A company trying to carve out a space in a very crowded and, well, dynamic electric vehicle market.
Yeah.
Let's begin by taking a close look at the stock's recent movements.
Okay, so as of April 4th, 2025, Mullen Automotive stock was hovering around, what, $0.08?
8 cents.
Roughly, yeah, penny stock levels. But what really jumps out is that sharp drop we saw on March 31st. The stock tumbled 8.70% that day, closing at 0.105 cents. And it wasn't a gentle slide. Within that single day, it bounced from a low of about 0.095 to a high of 0.161 cents. That kind of intraday roller coaster is worth noting.
It certainly is. And that single day's decline wasn't an isolated event. March 31st marked the 10th consecutive day of the stock price decreasing.
10 days straight down.
Exactly. When you look at that entire 10-day period, the stock lost a staggering 82.5% of its value. That kind of sustained downward pressure usually tells us something significant about investor sentiment.
Absolutely. And even with that massive drop on March 31st, there was a huge amount of trading activity. Around 202 million shares were traded.
202 million.
It makes you wonder about the motivations behind that level of buying and selling while the price was in such a steep decline.
Well, typically high trading volume during a sharp price decrease suggests a lot of investors are trying to get out of their positions. It could be people deciding to cut their losses or perhaps larger institutional investors adjusting their portfolios.
Right.
What's particularly noteworthy is that even with that intense activity, the price continued its downward trajectory.
Which leads us to what the technical analysis is showing. As of the latest information, the price had slipped even further to 0.80795.
Below 8 cents now.
Yeah, that's another significant drop of nearly 17.5% in just the 24 hours following that already low point. And the 52-week range really illustrates the incredible volatility we're talking about, a high of $785 compared to a low of 0.0777.
Wow.
The difference is almost hard to believe.
That $785 high from the past year really underscores how dramatically the market's view of this company has shifted in a relatively short time. And that high trading volume we discussed earlier seems to be continuing alongside these recent price drops, which often reinforces the idea of a significant sell-off taking place.
And when we look at the moving averages, think of these as ways to smooth out the daily price fluctuations to see the underlying trend. Both the short-term and long-term averages are currently indicating it might be a good time to sell.
Bearish signals.
What's particularly telling is that the long-term moving average is above the short-term one.
Right. That alignment of the moving averages is a signal that many technical traders watch closely. Imagine a speedboat and a larger ship. The speedboat, the short-term average, reacts quickly to waves, while the larger ship, the long-term average, has more momentum.
Okay.
When the speedboat dips below the larger ship, it often suggests a more sustained change in direction downwards, a classic sell signal for many.
Now, there's maybe a hint of a possible silver lining in the short term. The analysis suggests the stock might be what's called oversold, which can sometimes lead to a temporary bounce back.
Could be.
Plus, there's a buy signal coming from the 3-month MACD, which is another technical indicator.
That's an important point to consider, yeah. While the overall technical picture looks negative, when a stock is oversold, it means it might have fallen too far, too fast, and could be due for a temporary recovery as buyers step in, or maybe short sellers cover their positions.
Right, a short squeeze kind of thing?
Potentially, or just a technical bounce. The MACD signal also hints at a potential shift in momentum over the next few weeks. However, it's crucial to remember that these could be short-lived rallies within a larger downtrend. We have to be careful.
And for anyone thinking about jumping in, the analysis points to key resistance levels at 0.195 and $1.71. If the stock were to break through those, it might suggest a stronger buying opportunity. But those levels seem quite distant from where the stock is trading now, like really distant.
They do seem like a significant climb from the current price, absolutely. Those resistance levels represent points where there was significant selling pressure in the past. For the stock to stage a real comeback, it would need to overcome those hurdles, which would likely require a substantial change in investor confidence.
Something fundamental would need to change.
Probably.
Perhaps even more concerning is that the analysis doesn't identify any strong levels of price support below the current price. That sounds like there isn't much to stop further declines if things keep going south.
That's right. Support levels are like price floors, where buying interest tends to emerge and prevent further drops. The absence of significant support below the current level means there isn't, well, much technical basis to catch the stock. If the negative momentum continues, it could fall further.
Okay, so the technical picture is largely pointing downwards, with maybe a small chance of a short-term upward blip. Let's pivot and look at the fundamentals of the company itself. Mullen Automotive is an American EV manufacturer based in California.
Brilliant, California.
Their strategy involves both rebadging vehicles made in China and making acquisitions like Bollinger Motors.
That's a crucial aspect of their business model. They're not exclusively focused on designing and manufacturing their own vehicles from the ground up. The rebadging allows them to get vehicles to market more quickly using existing platforms.
Like Go 1-3 lines.
Exactly. And the Bollinger acquisition gives them a presence in the commercial EV sector, particularly with their B4 truck, which looks quite rugged. They also have their own branded lines, like the GT and GTRS, which are rebadged Contu K50 models, a sports car.
Right, and it's impossible to ignore the stock's dramatic plunge from over $47 in the past year to where it is now clearly in penny stock territory. That kind of massive decrease usually indicates some pretty serious underlying problems.
It usually does, yeah.
Oh.
And when we examine their financial health, those problems become clearer. For the fiscal year ending September 30, 2024, Mullen Automotive reported revenue of $1.09 million.
Okay, that's some revenue, up from $366,000 the year before.
Which is an increase, true. However, they also reported a staggering net loss of approximately $470.96 million.
Wow. A $470 million loss on $1 million revenue.
That's a massive gap between income and expenses. To put that in perspective, for every dollar of revenue they brought in, they lost over $436. It's just unsustainable.
That's a shocking figure, and unsurprisingly, that translates to significantly negative earnings per share. It's difficult to see a sustainable business with those kinds of losses.
Very difficult.
The report also highlights potential issues with their ability to meet short-term obligations, indicated by a low current ratio of 0.24x. That doesn't sound good at all.
No, it doesn't. A current ratio below 1 generally suggests a company might have trouble paying its bills that are due within the next year, using its assets that can be quickly converted to cash. A ratio as low as 0.24x implies a significant challenge in meeting those short-term liabilities.
So paying suppliers, debt.
Paying suppliers, managing debt, even funding day-to-day operations. It's a major cause for concern for the company's immediate financial stability.
So we've got some pretty clear red flags, significant financial losses, potential liquidity issues, and a business model that relies partly on rebadging existing vehicles, which, might not offer a long-term competitive advantage. However, the report does mention a couple of strengths, their acquisitions like Bollinger, and the fact that they own manufacturing plants, Tunica and Mishawaka.
Those are definitely potential assets, yes.
Yeah.
Owning manufacturing facilities gives them more control over their production process and the potential to scale up if demand increases. And the Bollinger acquisition could bring valuable technology, particularly for the truck market, and access to a different segment of the EV market. But the big question, though, is whether these strengths are enough to overcome the significant financial headwinds they're currently facing. That massive loss, the cash burn, it's a real challenge.
And it seems like the market's overall feeling reflects these concerns. Recent news and online discussions seem quite negative, with a lot of worry about the company's financial stability and the lack of truly original vehicle launches. Apparently, there haven't been any recent analyst ratings.
No, not that we see here.
But the general public sentiment appears to be quite cautious, maybe even skeptical.
That negative market sentiment can become a bit of a vicious cycle, can't it? It makes it harder for the company to attract investors, raise capital, which they clearly need, and ultimately turn its situation around. The absence of recent positive analyst coverage also suggests that professionals who closely follow the industry have, well, significant concerns.
When you look at who they're competing against, the likes of Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid, it's a really tough market to break into.
Extremely tough.
Especially when a key part of your strategy involves rebadging vehicles. They currently have a very small slice of the market and haven't brought a lot of unique technology to the table compared to those established players.
The electric vehicle market is incredibly competitive, you're right. And companies that succeed typically have a strong brand, innovative technology, and compelling products that differentiate them. While rebadging can offer a quicker entry into the market, it doesn't necessarily build long-term brand loyalty or create unique technological advantages that can set them apart from, say, a Tesla or even a Hyundai EV.
Looking ahead, there are some potential turning points on the horizon. They're scheduled to release their next earnings report on May 13th, 2025.
That'll be key.
And there's the possibility of future product launches. Those could be critical moments for the company.
Absolutely. Those events will provide important updates on their financial performance and any progress they're making with their product pipeline, particularly the vehicles coming from Bollinger. Positive news in those areas could potentially shift the narrative, maybe give the stock a lift, but disappointing results could further intensify the current challenges, could send the stock even lower.
And there are also some significant risks to keep in mind, such as potential changes in regulations that could affect the import and sale of rebadged vehicles.
Like tariffs or stricter homologation rules.
Right. And also just the ongoing volatility within the broader electric vehicle market itself. It's not exactly smooth sailing for everyone.
No, definitely not. The regulatory environment for electric vehicles is still evolving, and any changes that make it more difficult or expensive to bring in and rebrand vehicles would pose a significant threat to a key part of their current business strategy. And the EV market, in general, is subject to shifts in consumer demand, rapid technological advancements, intense competition, even fluctuating government incentives. It's a tricky space.
So when we put everything together, based on the information we've looked at, the overall picture seems to suggest caution, maybe extreme caution.
I think caution is warranted, yes.
The financial difficulties, the reliance on rebadged vehicles, and the negative feelings surrounding the stock all seem like substantial obstacles. And the high price volatility, coupled with a lack of clear price support, further increases the risk.
That's a fair summary. While the, extremely low stock price might attract some speculative trading interest, maybe some hoping for a quick flip.
A lottery ticket type play.
Kind of. But the underlying financial health and the technical indicators at this point paint a concerning picture for anyone considering a longer-term investment. The potential risks do seem to outweigh the potential rewards given the information we have right now. The recommendation seems to lean towards sell or avoid.
So as you can see, it's a complex situation with Mullen Automotive. The significant price drops and the volatility are hard to ignore, and the technical indicators largely suggest the downward trend could continue.
Seems that way.
While there might be short-term bounces, maybe sparked by that MCD signal or oversold conditions, the fundamental challenges and the market's skepticism appear to be significant hurdles.
Big hurdles.
The upcoming earnings report in May and any news about successful product launches, especially from Bollinger, could provide more insights, but based on what we know now, the risks look considerable.
They certainly do.
We hope this breakdown has helped you understand the information you shared. If you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. What are your biggest takeaways from this look at Mullen?